What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name's Nicole and I'm an addict. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015 and I do utilize medically assisted treatment. And I also am documenting my taper coming off Suboxone. I'm currently at 4 milligrams and you can find all those videos in a playlist labeled Suboxone taper videos. Now, before we get started today's video, we're going to be talking about prison. We're going to be talking about my prison stories, my prison experience, all the shit that happened to me while I was in prison, because you guys asked for it, so I'm going to give it to you. But before we get into the video, please, please, please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out. Leave me a comment down below. Have you been to prison? How long did you do? What prison did you go to? I love interacting with you guys in the comments. It means so much to me. It just, being able to talk with you guys and hear your stories and know that you've been through it too, makes me feel like I'm not so all alone, you know? Okay, also share this video if you got Facebook or if you're in any recovery groups, let other people know that we're here. Click the notification bell, drag it down to all so that way you'll get notified when I go live. I do go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And on Friday nights, we do MERA meetings, Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous meetings. So if you're on Suboxone or Methadone and you need support, be here at Friday at 7 p.m. Central. Tonight, though, we're having a special guest on, Nate Dogg 916. So you guys tune in for that at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And yeah, I think that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, sorry about all that. Let's get into some prison story time. So the one you guys voted on in the community tab was smuggling hydros on a Saturday. So I'm going to tell you about how me and my friend Rhonda smuggled hydros into the prison on Saturdays. Okay? So, all right, let me set the tone for you guys. I was locked up in a prison called RPF, okay? It's Arkansas Department of Corrections. It's in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. You can Google it. Right by the paper mills. Smells real bad. And it's a women's prison, of course. And it's more of a boot camp style prison. Everything's military. You march everywhere you go. You chant everywhere you go. You make your beds military style. You eat military style. Everything is very structured. The inmates run the whole prison. We do the cooking, we do the yard work, we do the cleaning, we do everything that has to be done is done by the inmates. And the guards are just there to supervise. Now, it's a minimum security prison, so, you know, I had never seen anybody really get into a really bad violent altercation. For the most part, it was just like girls getting into a little bit of fist fight or something, but for the most part, it was really chill while I was there. So the first 6 months that I was locked up in prison, you guys, I was just just chill. I was really uncomfortable. It took me a really long time to adapt, I guess you could say. I was really struggling internally with just processing the fact that I lost my freedom. I can remember every night laying on my rack and I had this little calendar that was taped up on the wall and I would X out the days and I would always count how many days I had until my release date. You know, like 20 days in a wake up, 10 days in a wake up. And I couldn't wait till the day I got out of there. I was miserable. I hated being there. I hated being away from my family. I hated losing my freedom. And when you get sent to prison or jail, anywhere where you can't leave, you're locked down. It's just, I can't even explain the feeling except for that you're completely out of control. Your life is out of control. So that's how I felt. So the first 6 months I was locked up, I was really sticking to myself. The only time that I really interacted or showed any kind of emotion, whether it was happy, sad, was when I was at my job in laundry, which I worked in laundry from about the second week I was in prison till I left. And down in the laundry room, it was me and about 6 other girls, and it was a very, very coveted position. If you could work in laundry, then you could get free world food, cigarettes, anything basically you could get smuggled in. And so working in laundry was a privilege. Okay, a lot of people wanted that position, and I just lucked out. One of the guards saw me working out on the yard, because we had this thing called CWC, which was basically the lawn mowing, construction work, anything that was done outside, CWC had to do it. So one of the guards saw me one day out there working my ass off, mowing the lawn, pushing this heavy ass lawnmower, sweating my balls off, and she was like, "Hey, you want to work in laundry?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And that was all she wrote. I worked in laundry from that day forward. So I know you guys probably heard the story I told on Tim's channel about riding in the dryers. So in laundry, the dryers were so big, and they had a switch that would shut off the heat to the dryers. You could get in the dryer, turn it on, and it would woo, woo, woo. Me and the girls would do that all the time and just sit down there, because we had to be down there at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I would work from 2 a.m. to 12 noon every single day doing laundry. Sit down there smoking cigarettes, just chilling, talking about what it was like when we were in the free world, you know? Talking about our loved ones, our boyfriends if we had any, our best friends, our families, just all that kind of stuff. Well, working down there, we always got first dibs to go to lunch. So there was a girl that I met that worked in the lunchroom named Rhonda. I'll never forget Rhonda. She was cool as hell, y'all. She lived in Unit 4 and I lived in Unit 6. So we weren't in the same, like, we didn't sleep in the same unit together. She slept in a separate unit. But I saw her every day at lunch, and we became like pretty close, pretty good friends. We talked to each other all the time, and we eventually ended up in the same unit at the end of our stay, because we were both fixing to get out. And when you would get out, you would move to a unit that held all the prisoners that were fixing to be let out of prison, like short-termers or people whose time was coming to an end. Yeah, so me and Rhonda had been talking to each other every day when I would come in and get lunch. She'd come sit with me and eat sometimes, and she told me that that her mom would come to see her every Saturday, and her mom would bring her pills, okay? She would bring her Hydros, Vicodins, Norcos, Xanax, Klonopin, just anything that her mom could sneak in. And I was thinking, damn, how do you get those in? I'm going to tell you guys how we got them in. Now, I didn't really have to do anything. Maybe a little bit, but just not any of the getting the pills into the prison. So every Saturday, the way the visitation would go was they would call us they would call us at our units, like on the walkie-talkie, as our families showed up. So let's say my family and Rhonda's family showed up. DeMayo and so come to the gymnasium. Your families are here. Me and Rhonda would deuce up and march down to the auditorium. Everything you did, if there was 2 of you, you had to deuce up and march to the auditorium. Wherever you went, if there was 4 of you, you deuced up to 2, march, okay? Everything you had to do military style, okay? So we deuced up and we were marching to the auditorium, or the gymnasium. We were marching to the gymnasium. Now, the way Rhonda's mother would do this was she would get in the prison, okay, and she would have the pills in a plastic bag, like up in her, right here on the side of her bra. I think that's the way she was doing it. She would go straight to the vending machines, okay? She would go to the vending machine, she would get a bag of chips. She would open that bag of chips, go to the bathroom, open the bag of chips, and dump the pills inside the bag of chips. Then when she would come sit down, she would sit across from her daughter, and then she would hand her daughter the bag of chips. Her daughter would take the bag of chips, take the plastic bag out of the bag of chips, and then stuff it in her waistband. Okay? Now, we were allowed to go to the bathroom. We were allowed to, you know, like step away from our visitor for a second and go, you know, go to the bathroom if we need to. Rhonda would go to the bathroom and then she would roll these up and then she would stick them up inside of her. Nate, no. What do you want? Here. What? This? Oh, love you. And she would, doop, right up there, okay? Now I know y'all are probably thinking, how did this go down? I promise you, there was so many of us at visitation, and y'all are thinking, when you think of visitation, you're thinking of the prisoner behind the glass and the parents on the other side. That's not how it was. This was a minimum security prison. The way they would do it was they would put 2 seats facing each other, okay, and they would just two, all across the gymnasium floor, and then behind that, 2. So there were just rows and rows and rows and rows of 2 seats, okay? So when the visitors come, they'd sit on one end and the prisoner would sit on the other end. And we could give them a hug and we could talk, and we sat there for 2 hours. That's how long we got visitations for every Saturday, was 2 hours. So every Saturday, her mom would go to the vending machine, get some chips, go to the bathroom, drop those hydros in the chip bag, give the chip bag to Rhonda. Rhonda would go to the bathroom, stick the plastic bag up inside of her, and then that was it. Now, we always had to have strip search before we went to the visitation and after the visitation. You guys know, if you have done this for a long time, you can strip search, squat and cough, and get past a guard. And that's exactly what would happen. You know, she would squat and cough and it wouldn't go anywhere, and she would get them, come back to the unit, pop them out, take her some, and then save the rest for me. Then we would meet in the cafeteria at dinner time, trade. She'd give me some, and then I would go back to my unit. Now, at the end of our stay, we were in the same unit together. So we didn't even have to worry about trading them off at the lunchroom. We would just do it when we got back to our unit. But I don't want you guys to think y'all are thinking like prison as in the guys and like very, like probably maximum security or medium security. That's not how this prison was at all. It was basically like I said, we were in charge of everything. The inmates were in charge of everything. So we walked the compound freely, you know, and that's why there was a lot of girls that were hooking up with girls, a lot of sexually acting out, a lot of altercations, like arguments and yelling. And for the most part, you know, as long as everybody was on their best behavior and wasn't starting no shit, the compound ran pretty smoothly. But that's how we would get those hydros in. And for the last probably 3 months that I was locked up, I stayed high on them hydros every weekend. And yeah, that's how we did it. So that's the story of how we would smuggle hydros in on Saturdays. I was going to say smuggle hydros in on Saturdays. And yeah, I'm going to tell you guys another story. The next story I tell you guys, I'm trying to think. The next story I'm going to tell you guys about is the shower story, and then when the whole compound basically got shut down. I'm going to tell you guys that one, and then I'm going to tell you about the high profile prisoner that we were locked up with. You're never going to believe this. So be on the lookout. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed that little prison story time, and if you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below. Please come tonight to the live stream with Nate Dog 916 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I love you guys, and I'll see you tonight.